welcome to the Pulsating Biology. And in today's video, we will be discussing the topics that were left in the previous video for the chapter classification in O-levels biology. Since we discussed about the key features of the arthropoda, let's in this video discuss about the phylum Arthropoda itself, like the general characteristics of the phylum Arthropoda. Well, the term arthropoda it means itself as the jointed legs. Now, what is meant by the jointed legs? It means when any of the organism consists of, let's say, the part of head, let's say the part of thorax, and the abdomen. So, whenever the thorax part that consists of the legs have multiple legs but in a jointed form that is meant by the phylum Arthropoda is one of the most largest phylum that we have in the vertebrate classification. It is the largest phylum as it contains almost 900,000 of species in itself. Well, the phylum Arthropoda, organisms in the phylum Arthropoda are known for their compound eyes, and by compound eyes they means that they have a mosaic vision. Now, what is meant by a mosaic vision? It means that the atmosphere or the environment they live in, the mosaic vision helps them to be more clear when it comes to the in vision. Well, the examples that are included in the phylum Arthropoda includes the examples include spider, it includes millipedes, it includes centipede, it includes all the organisms basically that have the multiple legs, since the arthropoda itself mean the organism with the jointed legs. These are the general characteristics of phylum Arthropoda, that it is the largest phylum which consists of almost 900,000 species in itself. They have a compound eyes for the mosaic vision in order to be very clear when it comes to their vision. And the examples are spider, millipede, centipede. Basically, the insects are included in the phylum Arthropoda. Let's discuss the phylum Arthropoda in a bit more detail and the characteristics of phylum Arthropoda. Before we get into the further detail, let's discuss some very basic characteristics of the phylum Arthropoda. So there are three very key features of the arthropoda that we have already discussed in the last video, but really giving it a review. That the three feature characteristics of the arthropoda is that they have the jointed appendages. The other one is that they have the segmented body, and by the segmented body I mean that their body is divided into sections and multiple of sections. The third is the external skeleton that makes their external body surface a hard and a rigid structure. So these are the three basic characteristics that make them relate to the term arthropoda. Let's discuss how the insects are basically related to the term arthropoda, or why is it said so that the insects are the relatives of arthropoda. Let's say, for example, this is an insect. Let's make a butterfly. This is a very weird butterfly, but that's it. That's okay. And let's say this is some sort of another organism that is an arthropoda. So why is it so that the both of them are similar to each other? It is because of the three key features. Now, what is meant by the three key features? The arthropodas are known because of these three key features, that is the joint appendages, segmented body, and the external body. So since the external body is hard, both of them have a hard external body, both of them has a segmented body, and both of them have a joint appendages. Both of them have a head, both of them have a thorax, and the abdomen part similar goes with the head, thorax, and the abdomen part. So since the three of these basic characteristics are present in insects as well as in the arthropods, that's why they are said that the insects and arthropods are linked with each other. And since the arthropoda have an example that includes the insects and all them centipedes and the millipedes, thus is it said that they both are the relatives of one another. From three key features, the first feature that to be discussed is the segmentation, that how the body of an arthropod is segmented into the different sections. Let's say this is the body of any example of arthropod, and these are the segmentation. The segmentation in a body of an organism means that the body is segmented into various sections, and by sections I mean it is divided into three main sections: head, thorax, and the abdomen. This is the head part, then we have the middle region that stands for the thorax, and then we have the lower region that stands for the abdomen. Well, since the first part is the head basically has the mouth parts, and by mouth part it's mean those parts that are responsible for chewing, lapping, and the other purposes. Then we have the thorax part. The thorax is the middle region of the body. It is basically the middle body region to which the legs and the wings are attached. Here, this part of the body consists of the legs and the wings. That depends on either the organism has wings or it does not has wings. The third, the last portion stands for the abdomen, which is basically the last portion of the body and consists of the digestive as well as the reproductive organs in this section. These are the three main sections of the body of an arthropod. The head that consists of a mouth part that is basically responsible for lapping, for sucking, and for other various purposes in order to get in the food. And then we have the thoracic part that is the below the head region and above the abdomen region that consists of the legs and the wings with regard to the example of an arthropoda. Then we have the third part that is the abdomen. It is the lowermost region and it is basically the posterior end and bears the additional legs and contains the digestive structures and the reproductive organs in this part. So do remember the three main sections, the head, the thorax and the abdomen that defines the arthropod as a characteristic. Now, the next topic for the discussion is the classification of the phylum Arthropoda. As we've discussed earlier, that is a trait that is the CAM-I, which we have learned in the botany in your Olevels. That is, C stands for crustaceans, A stands for arachnids, M stands for myriapoda, and the I stands for insects. So we will be discussing each of them one by one. Let's start with the first class, that is the crustaceans, and how the crustaceans are different from the other classes of the arthropoda. Well, crustacean means that they have a hard shell. The word crustacean itself tells us that they have a hard shell and a rigid outer structure. Then they have mostly, you'll be differentiating the classes of arthropoda on the number of legs or the number of wings that they have. So crustaceans have four pair of jointed legs, four pair of jointed leg. They have the hard outer covering and the four pair of the jointed legs. The examples of the crustaceans includes a few of them. Let's say crabs and lobsters and many more examples. For example, prawns, but we will be writing etc. This is the first class of the phylum Arthropoda. Let's come on to the second class. The second class of Arthropoda is the arachnids. Well, similarly, we'll be learning about arachnids in not in so detail, but the body of the is divided into the cephalothorax. So we have discussed about the cephalothorax in the last sheet. So the body is mostly cephalothorax, which means that the thorax and the head part would be fused together, and we'll have the abdomen as a separate part. That's just it is termed as the cephalothorax. It also have a four pair of the jointed legs, similar to the crustaceans. It have a four pair of jointed leg. However, the examples of arachnids are quite different from the crustaceans. The examples include the spiders, the scorpions, and the ones that are not commonly formed. For example, lemurs, for example, ticks, for example, mites, and we'll be writing etc. So this is the second class of the arthropoda. Let's come on to the third class of arthropoda, that is the myriapoda. As the name myriapoda itself tells us that myria and poda means that it consists of many legs. Many legs. So myriapoda tells us that it consists of many legs. It has similar segments. The body is segmented and have the similar segments within one another, and at least one pair of the jointed leg. It consists of a maximum. It consists of many legs, but at least it has one pair of the leg. It is not that there are less than one pair of the legs. So it consists of either one pair of the legs, and the example include centipedes and the millipedes, since they are much in number, and also that they are segmented. So the examples include centipedes and millipedes. We'll be writing centipedes and millipedes and etc. So this is the third class of the phylum Arthropoda. Let's discuss the last and the final class. The last and the final class is the insecta. Insecta, or you can say the insects, is basically the largest class of the arthropoda. So the insecta body is divided into head, thorax, and the abdomen. It is divided into head, thorax, and the abdomen. It is not fused together. They have a separate parts, and thus they are not termed as the cephalothorax. They have six jointed legs, not similar to the other ones. There are six jointed legs and four wings. This is the only class of arthropoda that consists of the wings. The examples of insects include cockroach, butterfly, grasshopper, etc. So, cockroach, butterfly, etc. So these are the four classes of the arthropoda crustaceans. We'll be learning it with the help of a term that I've already told you, that is the camai crustaceans, arachnids. From M we have Myriapoda, and from I we have Insecta. Insecta is the largest subclass of the Arthropoda. It is the largest subclass, and it also consists of the wings that is different from all other classes. The crustacean consists of four pair of the legs. Arachnids also consist of four pair of the legs. Myriapoda has many legs, and Insecta has six pair of the jointed legs. The examples are different from one another, but these are only the four classes and the for the characteristics that you need to learn in your syllabus.